fresh toppings, our chef sauce on a bakery soft roll. McDonald's Arch Deluxe. If it were any more...
This is a message that's been bringed by the US government. Please pay attention and do not panic. There has been reports of a new virus has been infecting people by getting through your ears and reaching the brain and causing heavy brain damage. Here is how an ear works. As you can see, the eustachian tube connects to the brain, and that's how the virus travels to the brain. For now we don't know much about this virus, but stay safe and be careful. May God help us all. This is an emergency broadcast bringed by the US government. We advise you to listen carefully. There have been some investigations on the new virus, and it turned out that it was a deadly fungus called Cryptococcus neoformans was mutated so badly, and as the government we will tell you what it does, and how to be safe from it. So we were on about the spreading system, and it's a lot worse, because it not just uses ears, but eyes, nose and open scars as well. The reason is the fungus being very small and unnoticed by the immune system, which makes it easier to reach the brain. The observation shows that the fungus has 5 stages. Stage 1. In this stage the fungus tries to adapt the brain of the living, causing slight brain damage, diarrhea, lung problems, slight eye and ear problems, coughing and high fever. Stage 2: in this stage the fungus still will be adapting, but has learned a lot more, which causes more lung problems, slight insanity issues, eye issues, unstoppable smiling, skin decay, stomach failure. Stage 3: the fungus have learned almost everything about the brain, which causes muscle failure, insanity, blindness, slight blood insufficiency, heart problems. Stage 4: the fungus adapts the brain completely, and this causes brain damage, blood insufficiency, liver failure, intestine failure, paranoia. Stage 5: this is the most deadly stage. If you can survive, of course, well, the effects are deafness, nose failure, heart insufficiency, bleeding, and maybe even total organ failure. And according to the chart, most people couldn't even survive to reach stage 5, and passed away at stage 4. Now Dr. Steven will talk about a test that has been done with an infected person.
Alright, so according to the test, we're facing a variant B of the fungus, so don't panic. And let me explain it with the results and differences. This is Billy. He came to the hospital having complaints about diarrhea, coughing and high fever, and it seemed out that he was infected. Luckily, it's only stage 1 for now. At stage 2 he starts smiling and his eyes turns bloody, because he couldn't sleep and he needed to be transported to coma, because it was getting a lot worse. Now at stage 3 and Billy is mostly blind. Muscles begins to fail, the grin gets bigger and the flesh is getting eaten alive. Since we know how infectious this fungus is, we took him to the laboratory and unfortunately trapped him in a containment zone. There was nothing we could have done, it was late. I can't even explain the 4th stage, the skin decays even more. He is now completely blind, the skull starts showing up, he acts like a psychopath. Randomly bleeding begins and the grin gets even bigger, eventually the muscles fail. It's shocking that Billy had survived to stage 5. Anyways, now the eyes begin to fall apart, skin decays even more. The skull is obvious and now he starts laughing like a maniac. and acts even more like a psychopath that we couldn't get a camera footage of him acting, but here are the sounds in the room. Manic laughter, crying for help, and psychopathic behavior. He is doing this all day and all night. Eventually his vocal cords stop functioning. Everything is now under control of the fungus. The grin is even wider, skin decay becomes fatal, organs starts to fall apart. Spores starts to flee from the mouth and deafness is seen. He is dead now, but this variant is a lot dangerous, so be careful and don't.
It's time to talk about what you should do to be safe and how to understand if someone is infected. Imagine this is you. To keep your ears safe, put on earplugs, since the most common way the fungus travels is through the ear. Then put some glasses and a mask to protect your nose, eyes and mouth. Stay indoors to avoid infected people, and always carry a gun to protect yourself from the infected. Bring some canned food to survive. The canned foods are necessary, because even if years pass it won't poison you. And also don't forget to bring bottles of water. If you don't get hydrated you will die.
So to understand if someone is infected is actually easy. Let me explain. If the person is laughing frequently for no reason, he's most
Now
probably
Dr.
an
Isaac
infected
will
and get away
explain how
from
to
it. If the
understand
person
an
is looking
infected
at you with no
person's
emotions,
behavior.
he is most likely being infected, so run away from the infected. If the person says his stomach hurts and thinks he is sick, keep a distance, since the coughing in SAG1 can spread spores. If the person acts like a psychopath, run immediately, because the person is most likely at stage 3 or 4.
Dear Billy, I am so sorry. We were just trying to test a lighter variant, but it turned out it was much dangerous. We didn't know either. Billy, please forgive our crew. I don't know how you reached our system, but it made us cry. I hope you'll get well soon. I'm really sorry for what I did.
So we gave the variants their name by how dangerous it is. For example, variant A is a dangerous one, but it's not as dangerous as variant C, so that's why it's alerting. Or variant B is mostly safe and looks like the beginning of variant A, so that's why it has the beginning name. Anyways, let's start.
This is an emergency broadcast that's been bringed by the US government.
So already in the past alerts, we have talked about variant A. So the only thing you need to know is this is the most common and the most infectious one. Also, it is deadly.
There has been research on the new variants of the fungus and has been found with
Variant
four
B
total
is the
variants,
second rarest
each one
type of the
having
fungus.
their own
It doesn't affect
properties.
that much on the human,
These
but some
variants
resistible
are
smile and headaches. Don't worry though, the
AA
fungus on
stands
this
for
variant
alerting.
dies in for weeks.
BBBB stands for beginning. C stands for see careful or cautious. And finally DDDDD stands for
Alright,
Now
variant
it's
C is the
time to
variant you
talk
shouldn't
about
want to
the
get because
variants
its effects are
themselves.
so much worse from other
Professor
variants.
William
At the
will
last
explain
stage,
all four
depending on the fungus
variants.
you get, there is a chance that the fungus can turn you into a zombie. So you can get infected by the fungus, C1 or C2. If you get infected by the C1 variant, you will be turned into a complete brain-dead zombie/monster. But if you get infected by the C2 variant, you will be a smarter but weaker zombie. Here are some photos of them. We don't know that much about this variant because there was only one infected with this variant, named Bill.
I never left, Doctor. I finally beat it, the fungus. Also, thanks for telling the truth. I'm sorry.
Zero 02 03 19 98 08 07 19 98 31 06 20 00